Our 9th greatest ever motorcycle is the most daring bike ever built. It's the 1955 Motor Guzzi V8 race bike.
Motor Guzzi.
The Guzzi is just an incredible machine. You know, it's multi-cylinder technology at a time when no one else was doing it.
It seems like a crazy attempt to reach for the stars.
It's just a perfect combination of genius and madness.
So why is this bike so great? Well, it all comes down to the engine.
The V8 was genius, but kind of genius and insanity mixed up in one. It was a huge leap forward. It was like, why carry on doing what we're doing now, producing single-cylinder machines? Let's just leap forward in one fell swoop, 20 years, and let's build a V8.
In an engine, the more cylinders you have, the more power you get. But it also increases the size. And a V8 is huge, which is why it was only ever put on cars.
I like the most complicated possible way to do the simplest task. That always seems to intrigue me. And the Motor Guzzi V8 is the most complicated way to do the simplest task.
To build a V8 small enough to fit on a bike, Motor Guzzi had to quarter the size of all the components. The whole thing weighed just 45 kilograms.
The genius of this design is not so much in daring to make an 8-cylinder engine, but in packaging it so tightly that it became usable as a motorcycle engine.
And when you look at one of those Guzzi V8s all apart, it's like taking a watch apart, little tiny pieces.
Racing is always about going fast, but the 50s were pretty special from that point of view. The Guzzi V8 did almost 190 miles an hour, and it was another 30 years before Grand Prix bikes had got back up to that speed.
But technical problems such as engine seizures plagued the Guzzi V8. Costs spiraled, and sadly it was scrapped in 1958, just 3 years after its conception.
Technology had been greater at that time. The V8 probably would have been a world championship winning motorcycle, but it was too much technology for the time, I think.
50 years later, you think they were making a V8 Grand Prix bike back then. It's just fantastic.
Of course, it could be said that genius which succeeds is genius, and genius which fails is madness. But that can only be said in retrospect.
Although the Guzzi V8 is the most audacious statement in racing, ultimately it was a failure, so it gets 9th place.